All right, so the Knicks sweep Cleveland in 4 games, their second straight sweep in the playoffs. After allowing the Knicks to come back from down 22 in the fourth quarter to win game 1, the Cavs got blown out in every game, outscored by a combined 77 points. So James Harden was asked how much better the Knicks are after the series, and this was his response.
You know, obviously they dominated us 4-0, but yeah, I don't know if I can necessarily answer that question. Just because genuinely I do feel like we are the better team.
All right, we are the better team is going to be the headline. On this one, I'm going to defer to my players. I'm going to defer to you guys who played, because it's easy for me to sit here and say, what the hell are you talking about? You just got swept and your team basically gave up in the fourth game and all of that. And how can you then say you're the better team? But I think maybe there is something in the mentality of the athlete that you have to be able to convince yourself of that in order to get to be where James Harden is. So I will defer to you. What do you think of him saying afterwards, I feel like we're the better team?
He did say in his defense that they got dominated in 4 games prior to that.
Which is evidence that would suggest they aren't the better team, which is what I'm saying when I say that maybe you have to be, you have to be a little crazy, right? You have to delude yourself into thinking that you're the better team anyway.
Out of anyone on this network, I am probably the biggest James Harden apologist, because I am from Houston, Texas, where he became an MVP and was extremely dominant. But in my soul, there's no way you can say you're the better team or your team is the better team when you get swept in the manner in which you got swept. And it's unfortunate. And on top of it, to say it when you know that in this series, you left much to be desired, that's tough. They were not the better team. And it was proven handily. And so I have a tough time agreeing. Now, when we go into games, we tell ourselves that. But after games, we have to face the reality and hear the music. And the music was loud. The music was a symphony. And so I can't agree. I understand the mentality. But at the end of the day, ball don't lie. And it really bounced in New York's favor.
I just, you know, when I hear James talk, I feel like I know what it is. And I don't think James Harden is worried about what anybody thinks about James Harden. And I don't think anything that James Harden can say is going to change somebody's interpretation of James Harden. If you think James Harden plays a style of losing basketball, then you're going to feel that way. You're going to feel that way. It's going to be confirmed after this series. There was a part of me as a former player, even Donovan Mitchell's comments as well, when he backed James Harden up, at some point, you got to be in the trenches in the foxhole together. The rest of the world doesn't have to believe you, but you got to fight for each other. And if James Harden's coming back next year, I'm not saying what he said is right, because it's not on paper when we listen to it. But in that locker room, if you're coming back to that team, you want your teammates to believe in you and what you have to do the following year. And Donovan Mitchell felt the same way when he backed up James Harden in his post presser too.
Man, again, let's put the ribbon, if we will, on a Cavalier season. They did get to the conference final. They do wind up with a losing record in the playoffs, for whatever that's worth. They are, from what you've been telling me, I mean, Harden is coming back. That's signed, sealed, and delivered. So what does their future look like?
Yeah, they have 2 pathways they can go. One, they can sort of run this team back, maybe change Kenny Atkinson's coaching staff, go through a training camp, similar to what the Knicks did, basically say we believe in this team and keep it going. 2, they could make major changes. They already made a major Harden trade, trading away one of their young all-stars, Darius Garland. They could examine trading away one of their other young players, either Jared Allen or Evan Mobley, which would be a major move. And when I was walking out on the court last night, as the Cavs fans were all yielding their arena to the Knicks fans, every single Cavs fan that passed me said, are we getting LeBron? Are we getting LeBron? The Cavs could only pay him $3 million as they're currently constructed. They could make moves to try to attract him, to try to trade for him, but those would be complex. But LeBron James will be an unrestricted free agent in a month.
What do you think, Wendy? I mean, Alan, if you were to put LeBron James, and again, I'm just playing fantasy basketball at this point.
Yeah.
If we were to put LeBron James at the age of what he'll be next year, 43, on that team, are they a legitimate threat to win the East next year?
I don't think so, mainly because, again, that backcourt struggles to defend. And James Harden really has to just look in the mirror and why they lost the series, because he's supposed to be one of their better players. He might have been one of their worst.
Yeah, there was it was not pretty for most of this for Cleveland, right? Much more basketball as we go this morning, including the future of LeBron and how he.
Knicks have won 10 in a row, and tonight they have a chance to clinch a finals berth.
Don't sweat the technique.
Bridges drives alley-oop, and Robinson with the two-handed slam. Deuce McBride hits the three-pointer, fakes the three, sidestep, another three-pointer, punts it in. Knicks are red hot once again. It's a 20-point lead.
Cavs have let go here. Like the hope is disappearing right now.
Another turnover, Anunoby, Brunson, alley-oop.
When they sweat the technique.
And Anunoby with the slam. Believe it, Knicks fans, the New York Knicks are going to the NBA Finals.
So much of this morning has been spent on the Knicks and their incredible run. Let's talk about the Cavs for a moment here as they fall one round short. Their owner, Dan Gilbert, tweeting after the game, "We took a step ahead this spring, but we are nowhere near where we need to be. I can't thank the fans enough for the support this year. We will dig in all summer and do everything we possibly can to take the next step. We will grind until we get there. Congratulations to the Knicks and best of luck in the finals." Let me bring in Wendy, because again, as I mentioned, at the end of that game, you were the only Ohioan left in the building. It was all the Knicks fans and Wendy from Akron. When the owner says, "We will dig in all summer and do everything we possibly can to take the next step," people will immediately say, does that mean the return once again, once and for all, one final last dance, if you will, for LeBron James? What do we think is headed this way here in Cleveland?
I think the Cavs have two pathways. And Kenny Atkinson floated this on the podium last night after the game, that they could bring this team back, put them through a training camp, and try to, again, just like the Knicks kind of did this year, if you believe in the roster, which honestly it's a hard sell because they were 8-10 in the playoffs and were not competitive with the Knicks. The other thing that they can do is get inventive, and that would go around James Harden. James Harden is going to be a Cav next year. He's going to sign a new contract in all likelihood. He's going to opt out of his contract and sign a new deal. And that new deal will probably be structured in a way that will allow the Cavs to dip below the second apron. And once they've done that, it can bring in the availability of them to make a major trade. And is that trade a sign and trade deal for LeBron James? Is it a trade for another star player? Would they enter the Giannis Antetokounmpo sweepstakes? Would they try to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo and then try to convince LeBron James to come over on a vastly reduced contract? Or would they just try to bring it all back? All of these things are possible. Also this summer, Donovan Mitchell has a contract extension decision. He has one guaranteed year left on his contract. The Cavs would love to extend him, but for various reasons and for financial reasons, he could push that decision off into 2027 and face unrestricted free agency then. So a very big, weighty summer of decisions coming up for the Cavs. They could take big swings if they wanted.
If they were to take the biggest swing, if it was an all-in effort, and you're able to get Giannis for 1 year, even though maybe Giannis didn't want to be in Cleveland for the rest of his career, and you're able to lure a guy like LeBron. You imagine a team with LeBron James, Giannis, Donovan Mitchell, and then James Harden all together in the Eastern Conference? Like, why not swing for it?
Well, they would win the NBA championship of 2013 easily. I mean, that team would run away and hide with the 2013 NBA championship.
They would be the favorite next year.
The problem is it's going to be 2027. LeBron James at 43 and James Harden, the guy we just watched.
If you're able to get Giannis,
it's more.
If you're able to get Giannis,
games is Giannis going to play?
Greedy, focus more on the Giannis factor.
Okay.
Because the issue that they had in their wins, what do we see? Dominant post players that played with force and authority. Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley. They were non-existent in their losses, and you have to address that heart and soul factor. How fierce you compete. No one is more fierce in the paint, 2 feet in the paint, getting downhill than Giannis Antetokounmpo on days where he's great. This is a guy that wakes up, averages 30 on 60% shooting. The only issue has been his health when it comes to the postseason and being available. That type of mindset, coupled with people that can actually pass him the ball and, well, hopefully knock down shots. We know Don has. James Harden left stuff to be desired. I can see the Giannis angle as a fix. The question is, will Giannis want to do it? Because he's been
What's his
up and
motivation?
down.
And will LeBron
up
want to
and
do
down.
it? Go ahead.
Again, for both of them.
LeBron take way less money to do it.
Yeah, which would you take less money?
At that age?
Taking less money in this economy. What you're also looking at is it just feels like throwing a bunch of star players into a bowl and hoping it all works. When you have two guys that don't really stretch the floor and two guys that need to drive into the paint to be successful, I'm not sure that really works. But we shall see, because if you're Dan Gilbert, that can't be acceptable. Your building was taken over. Your team quit. You got to do better.
And then the question is, can Kenny Atkinson?
8 days, 14 back-to-backs.
I agree. I've been saying
they
it the whole
had no
time.
legs. They had no legs on their shot. They had clearly no legs to run back on defense.
Right.
So the circumstances, they've been playing almost every other day.
Right.
You could just see it. I know the narrative and the joke and the definition on Webster by Chuck was quit.
Right.
But I just feel like they knew they didn't have it in it early.
I understand that.
Yeah.
They also went 7 games in a first-round series, and I don't mean to disrespect
have
Toronto,
to.
but don't go 7 games.
Yeah.
They went 7 against Detroit. They
Didn't
had
have
the
to.
lead at home in
Yeah.
their own building in Game 6. This is, I mean, you win a championship a lot of different ways, and one of them is by earning all this rest, by making sure that you're the healthy team, by making sure you're the fresh-legged team. Let me just get a quick final thought on this from the Windman, just as far as the LeBron of it all. From a timetable standpoint, I heard LeBron say last week, I'll know by August what I'm planning on doing. August feels like a long way off with a lot of decisions being made between now and then. Give me a little timetable idea here.
I'm going to treat that as a throwaway line from LeBron. He's on vacation right now. When he comes back, he'll get serious. He's going to have to decide whether he wants to be a Laker, and the Lakers are going to have to decide how much they're going to offer him in the next 2 or 3 weeks. He has a $58 million cap hold. The Lakers have to deal with that. If he remains a Laker, this is all going to be moot. And I do think that they're, despite, what they might posture that would be basically negotiating, I do think there's a pathway for him to stay in LA. But if it is not, and if the Lakers want to use that cap space elsewhere, then there will be things open for LeBron. But I still have never heard LeBron say he's willing to take a very small contract. If he does say that, we'll be glad to report on that. But I have yet to hear that, and that's kind of where the dreams in Cleveland kind of die right now.
All right, we'll see what happens with them. We'll get back to the Knicks in just a couple of minutes. There's one other thing I wanted to make sure we got in today, because I think this is important that clearly